Welcome back to Melbourne Strength Coaches Podcast, number one in the hearts, number one in the charts. Have you ever wanted to get into powerlifting? Maybe you want to experience what powerlifting training is like. You're interested in doing a competition, but maybe you're a little bit scared of the affiliated competitions and putting too much pressure on yourself. Or maybe you just want to see where your strength is at and feel what a peak is like for somebody that's undertaking powerlifting training. For those people, a novice comp is what we would recommend. And this is why we are about to launch our first ever novice comp. Our novice comp is going to be specifically for people that have never done a true powerlifting competition before. They're looking to get their first exposure of powerlifting without all of the added pressures of joining an affiliated competition. We have also added on a 10-week training program with an individualized coach. So one of the boy there's here will take you through the 10 weeks of training. You'll get technique sessions, access to the gym. You'll get access to the comp day, as well as a full training program, full nutrition coaching. Everything that's included in our package is typically around $1,500 to $1,700. However, for this powerlifting, this novice powerlifting comp, it's going to be just $790 for the 10 weeks of training and coaching and the competition day. So if this is something that might interest you, or you want to learn more or get involved, you can go through the first link down below or reach out to one of the coaches in the DMs and they'll be happy to chat with you. But if you're looking for your first exposure of powerlifting, this is the best opportunity. The Strength Culture Novice Competition, which will be kicking off in just a few short weeks' time. Welcome back to Melbourne Strength Coaches Podcast, number one in the hearts, number one in the charts. We've got a special guest today, Mark Macdonald from MyStrengthBook.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming down. You've flown all the way over. How was the trip over?
It was brutal. No, it was like 36 hours total. We left in like a crazy snowstorm, got rerouted, ended up just to get to LA actually. It was like 3 different flights, 24 hours.
What?
And then,
3 different flights. Just because of the snowstorms and like delay?
So we went from, I live in the east coast of Canada, so it was like a couple-hour flight to Toronto, stop over there. We were supposed to fly direct to LA from there. Ended up getting rerouted to Houston. Had like a 6-hour layover there. Another 5-hour flight from Houston to LA. I think we had like a 10-hour layover in LA. And then LA to
Man, who's your travel agent?
My wife. I think she's fired. No, it wasn't supposed to be that bad, but yeah, we got like 44 centimeters of snow, like literally as we were leaving. We didn't have much snow this year, so that screwed things up. And then LA to Melbourne's like 16 hours.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah. That's one of the longest in the world.
It's direct, isn't it? Yeah. That's what it's always been. It is direct.
Yeah, it used to only be direct from Sydney, I think, but now it is to Melbourne. Yeah.
There's only like 2 options. You basically fly from Vancouver or LA. And then
to Melbourne.
Yeah.
Directly.
Yeah, and Sydney too. Or maybe there's a New York flight to Sydney.
I think there's a New York to Sydney. There's also a Melbourne to Dallas now as well.
Okay.
There's
Melbourne
a few.
to Dallas.
Yeah,
I like
Texas.
that. The one direct flight.
Straight to Texas.
Yeah. But actually I didn't mind the long haul as much as like the short ones and then the big fucking layover.
The layovers are what kills you.
The long one you can settle in.
Yeah. Well, I just took sleeping pills. I woke up and I was like 3 hours left.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Sleeping pills and movies.
Yeah.
Best combo.
Yeah.
Which airplane were you on? Like what?
United over here, but Air Canada all the way to LA.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Were there good selections of movies?
Well, no, I can't even remember what I watched,
Sleep
but
the whole time.
I think it was like an old time
That
movie.
Valiant really like knocked you out.
Schindler's List.
Oh, really? All right.
I was watching that, but I got right into the war.
Yeah, nice. And obviously we know, but just so everyone else knows, do you want to give us a little quick rundown of sort of why you're over in Australia and how your business is evolving, I guess, and like what you're trying to do with it?
Yeah, so I guess for those who don't know what MyStrengthBook is, we're a platform for fitness entrepreneurs. So everything we build as far as software goes is designed to help fitness entrepreneurs scale their business online. So we work with coaches, fitness influencers, gym owners, and we have a new product coming out soon that I'll talk about in a bit. But Australia has been like a pretty key area for growth for us in the last year or so. I don't know when we started getting traction or how, it just happened. And the coaching industry is definitely exploding here. It seems like every night I'm up working in the middle of the night, so I was like, I better get over there and just meet some of these people because the time zone's such shit. So
yeah, we sort of are like tucked away.
Yeah. So it was like a 14-hour difference. So this year I was one of my key priorities is like, go talk to some customers. So we just designed this tour. We're started in Melbourne, going to Adelaide, Gold Coast, all around there, Brisbane, and then Sydney. Got like 20 odd meetings set up, a couple workshops. We just hosted one here on the weekend, which was sold out. So that was pretty good. And it's more just networking, discussions, meeting people.
How'd you get into the software development? Because I know you've got a bit of a history as a lifter and stuff. But
so when I was a teenager, I started software development, just like screwing around, literally.
Making little games or something?
It wasn't even games. It was a chat line. I don't know if you guys remember like MIRC or like back in the day.
No.
I might be older than you guys, but this is like pre-Facebook.
I remember MSN.
We had MSN.
This is pre-MSN.
Pre-MSN. Holy
couple
shit.
of years.
So we're talking like late 90s, early 2000s?
Well, I was born in 89, so I'm 33. This was like, I was in junior high, I guess,
So
which would have been 2002, 2003. Okay. Then MSN came out.
Yeah.
Then it was
So you built a chat line?
On top of an existing one. So Microsoft actually owned MIRC. This is like you had to sign up. You had to buy a server, configure it, and people join your server. It's super like...
Sounds like Minecraft.
Tons of friction. Yeah, but like just chat. So you could... it was basically Discord now.
Yeah.
Like you set up channels, you had a network, server, channels, and then you had administrators. So I owned a server there, or a couple of them. But you sold ops, is what they're called. And the ops were a way to see who was whizzing you, which is a way to basically, for someone to right click on someone's name, get information on them so you can see like when their last activity was, what their away status was. It would be like checking somebody's profile right now. Yeah. But when you had ops, which I sold for $20 a month, you could see who was whizzing you. So back in the junior high, it's like
so you can see who's checking your profile. So you sort of like back.
Yeah, so I had so many people. I bought a car. Like so many people paying me for this thing. And I mean, it wasn't hard to set up. Like I was just like reading a couple of forms or whatever.
How many members did you have paying $20?
We had all the high schools in the local area. We had thousands of people on the...
Young Mark Zuckerberg.
Well, I missed it. I was like, Facebook is the obvious thing after this. Because it became this social network of just chat, people fighting and what. It was a great time. But the channel system was definitely the biggest way to put high schools and friend groups and everything into these systems. So you'd be part of like 20 odd channels. So I did that in high school, and then started powerlifting I was a hockey player, played all the sports growing up, pretty high level, and then got into powerlifting randomly one day at the gym and ended up competing at Worlds maybe 6 times or so. So I was on Team Canada for a bit.
Raw
and equipped.
Unequipped.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was like old school powerlifter back in the day. That was the only type of powerlifting. So I did many equipped worlds and then transitioned to Raw in like 2012 or 13, whenever.
I think 2012 was the first. I think it was 2012
cool anymore.
Something like that.
That's crazy that it's only like 10, 11 years old.
Oh yeah, it's so young, and it's funny that people don't even know that
equipped what it is.
That's all it was. There was no such thing as classic.
But there's lifters now that don't even know what equipped is.
Exactly.
Like they don't even know what a bench shirt is or
and less than 10 years ago,
that
was it.
That was the only option.
That was powerlifting. Yeah. And even beyond that, it was like multiply and wearing like canvas and like it was crazy the industry, which is why it was probably that big. And now it's it's much more accessible.
Accessibility's huge now.
Massive.
I went to business school, did accounting, so I'm a chartered accountant, and I just couldn't stand it. I worked in an office for a couple of years, transitioned into industry. So I was working in the oil and gas industry, which is why I moved to Calgary. Hated that too, even though the money was good. And then I was like, I want to start a business. That's all I wanted to do. I just remember when I was making money on my own in high school, and I wanted to do something, and I was like, software, powerlifting, let's make an app. And that did not do well. Like we just started a fitness app that was powerlifting specific.
So this was my first, was it MyStrengthBook from the start?
Yeah.
So my first exposure to MyStrengthBook was when I was training under John Paul Cowkey.
Yep.
This would have been back in the OG Woodford days, maybe 2014. And him and I think Bryce Crort, maybe not, Brett Gibbs, I think was
Brett
involved. Who was the Canadian lifter that sort of just disappeared? He started a coaching business with...
Exactly who you're talking about, because JP told me about him. He competed once. He was meant to be the next thing.
And then he just like pulled out. He started a coaching business with Hancock. Is that his name?
Yeah. Oh, Josh.
Josh Hancock?
Yeah.
Hancock, is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was he involved?
He's a lawyer now.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
he was.
So he was meant to be the next...
He wasn't involved with us, but he was in that.
He was in that mix, yeah. And JP, because I was training, and he's like, I got this great opportunity to write a program for this new software, MyStrengthBook. And I was like, oh, cool. And it was like his like fucking 5-day powerlifting or whatever. And it was just like a program. That was my first experience of what MyStrengthBook was.
Well, that was actually V2 of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the timeline of MyStrengthBook, we started in 2016. And I actually had a partner at the time, Avi Silverberg. I don't know if you remember him. So we had started this thing.
I do.
And all it was a fitness tracker for powerlifting, and it calculated metrics. We just built this like reporting engine. It would tell you how much volume you're doing, intensity. That was literally it. It wasn't
like
even
averages and
wasn't
stuff.
even a mobile app. It was just a web app that you pull up on your phone. It sucked. But we got a ton of traction. Like we had all this momentum from, we were the only app in the space that was powerlifting specific. And we were selling for like $9 a month or whatever, but like you couldn't scale it. Like powerlifting was only so big then. It was just, getting popularity. I don't know what we got up to, definitely under $10,000 a month. Yep. Wasn't enough to live on. So neither of us quit our jobs. And then the feedback we were getting was like, it's just so hard to like input all your training. So you'd still have to like have a program outside of the app, type it in through your phone on a web browser. So super, a lot of friction involved. So then we built V2, which was like, why don't we just pre-build the programs and then sell them? So people literally just pull up the app, follow along. Basically what it is now.
Yeah.
And we partnered with Brett Gibbs, JP, bunch of people from the States, Kelly Brand, like as big names as you can get in powerlifting at the time. And we started selling a premium subscription for $29.99 a month, I think. And then that's where things took off. We were just like, holy shit, there's a market for selling programs as a template. But the business model was broken because, all the people we partnered with, it wasn't their app. And there was like...
They just give you IP.
Yeah. So like JP wasn't going to promote it because we had Brett Gibbs' programs on it. So he wasn't guaranteed the sale.
Yeah.
Like it was a library. So we just paid them a commission on usage of the program. So it was it was a broken model. And we knew that right away. And we were like, okay, well, this isn't going to work. And at the time I wasn't really thinking about like, how can I scale this from like a white label act perspective like it is now. So then we're like, okay, well that sucks. And we hit a ceiling. We actually did quite well with it financially, but the people that were writing the programs for us weren't promoting it. So we're capped. Then we're like, well, coaching is blowing up. Let's build a coaching portal. So we like used our fitness app as the client side, and then we built the coaching side, which sort of talked to it. And that one is so hard. Like that one is by far takes up 90% of my day, even today.
The backside for the coaching.
Yeah, all of it. Just like client coach relationship, sending like you got 2 customers you got to deal with. Like things are constantly changing. So when we built it at the time, we didn't have the resources, we didn't have the skills, and we built it and it was like, okay, we can get it to here, but we've got crazy amount of competition in the space. Like at the time, Fitbot was new to the scene, which is just like text only. So they were getting all the Gen Pop people. Spreadsheets were, easier to use. People were used to them. And then we were like, well, fuck, what do we do? We're stuck. We can't grow anymore. The space is getting competitive, and my partner was basically losing interest. So we were kind of just floating for like a year, and we're like, where do we go next? Do we double down the coaching side? Do we go back to the premium side? We definitely don't want to just be a metrics for powerlifting apps. So I had this great idea. I was like, well, I'm going to try to double down the coaching side and like keep doing what we're doing, just doing it a different way. And then COVID came and just fucking like pummeled us. We died basically. Like,
oh, really?
Month 1 COVID, every gym in the world closed. We lost the little bit of revenue we had I think we dropped like 60% month 1. Like we were down to 1 employee. I was still working another job. my partner was out.
So this is all relatively recent.
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, 2020. So then I was like, I worked in the oil and gas industry, and oil went negative pricing. Like, it was literally, they were giving away for free. So I'm like, fuck, the gyms are closed. My 6-figure salary is at risk. And then like 2 months into COVID, or 3 months into COVID, the company I work for, which is like the biggest oil and gas company in Canada, or one of them, it's like top 3, was on the verge of bankruptcy. When I started, it was a $52 billion company, and the market cap was like $2 billion during COVID.
Holy shit.
And then they got bought and they closed. And I was like, well, there goes my job. I literally lost my job. So I was like, okay, I got a severance package.
You're an accountant there.
I'm an accountant, but I was working in software there.
Software.
Yeah. So I transitioned from accounting to software. I became like a software engineer, I guess, self-taught in oil and gas. I was doing like innovation, like AI, blockchain, all this other stuff. And I was just like, what do I do with my life? Like, do I risk everything, go back to MyStrengthBook? Do I go find another job? Do I do another startup? And I was just like, I just called every one of our existing customers. You know, we only had a handful at the time. And I was like, I just need to talk to people in the industry, see if there's still something in fitness, because I know things were going to change. I was like, everybody's moving online. Everybody who owns a gym is fucked. So like, they're moving online. I was like, I can probably help in some way. And I was just like, everyone I talked to, I kept hearing the same thing. Like, I want to build an app. I want to build an app. I was like, well, I know how to build an app. I have an app, but it's the only thing I need to change is make it white labeled, like give people their brand back. Because at that time it was all MyStrengthBook, you know, everything. Even if you worked with us, it was still, as a coach, it was still MyStrengthBook. So I was like, well, I'm going to try to figure out how to white label a mobile app. It's never been done before, especially for coaching or selling subscriptions, because I knew the premium model did well. And I took every bit of money I had. I hired a full team, and we just went to work. I bought the company off my partner, what was left of it, and we spent 6 months building and selling. So I was out selling this fake product. I was telling them it was built.
Wasn't there yet.
It wasn't there. I was showing them pictures. I was like, listen, I'll put your face. I would like make a mock-up, put their logos on. I'd be like, yeah, this is what your app would look like. It would take us like, a month or two to build, and it's free. Like, I wasn't sure. We charged the pricing model we have now, which is like per usage. And I was like, I just need to get 20 of these sold to like bigger players, and then we'll be good. And my team was building it. I was out selling it. And this is still during lockdown. So I was facing crazy headwinds. Like every 5 seconds, Australia was fucking closing again, and US is closing.
We were fucked. And Canada was fucked too.
We were. And it was just like every day was a new stress. But anyways, we kept going. And we pulled it off. We got like 20 sales. And I was like, okay. I told my team, I was like, listen, we're out of money in August. And we were launching in May. And we launched month 1 to like 40K in revenue. And it was just
Let's go.
Whew.
Yeah.
And I was just like, thank fuck. Like something worked. And it was just like, okay, we've got something here. Now we just need to keep selling and keep selling and keep selling. And obviously we had to make improvements and keep building it out. But that's like how we got here today.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy. How many people have you got on there now? Is that information
on the app?
Yeah. Like
companies. How many businesses
like us that are
so
using it?
On the coaching side, we have probably about 1,000 coaches on the pool side.
Yeah,
that's our like online coaching.
Yeah.
On the push side, 400.
Yeah.
So it's still it's not I thought there would have been more than that.
No.
Like for what I see, like especially with the names in which you've got, like
we've got like big names.
You've got pretty much the biggest names in the like some of the like Calgary Barbell, like Kabuki, Thor's on there.
Yeah.
Thor's Power Training, he's on there. Russell Laurie, he's on there, I think.
No, he's with a competitor. Yeah.
He's a competitor.
He should come here.
Yeah. Fuck, Ross.
We were close, but
Dog, man.
Yeah. just checking in to let you know that the 10-week training block that leads into our first novice powerlifting competition kicks off on March 20th. If you're interested in joining Melbourne Strength Coach's first ever novice powerlifting comp, you get ready to get your feet wet in powerlifting, your first exposure of a true powerlifting block, a peak, and a competition without the pressures of an affiliated competition. We're here to help, and the 10-week program, kicks off on March the 20th. If you want to get involved, first link down below.
No, we've got, like, we were still relatively in powerlifting up until, like, last year.
Yeah.
Because last year would have been, like, 1 year into, like, this new model, which is, like, white-labeled apps. And now we're getting into, we work with a lot of bodybuilders, pro bodybuilders, so we're scaling quite quickly. We'll probably add... like we're growing at like 12% month over month right now is what we average.
Nice.
But we're also building another product. So we see a ceiling with online coaches. We're like, well, some people are just stuck in their ways. They're not going to move. There's competitors, but we're in this barbell sport. Like we're in the strength side and we're on this like lifter side, which would also include like physique, body composition, all that. It's more modern lifting, I guess. But, where we're going next is still sticking with fitness entrepreneurs. So gym chains is our big one. So we have a product coming out in Q2. This is like the first time I'll be talking about it publicly, but it's a way to manage an entire gym through a white labeled app. So your gym gets an app. We have a smart key integration, manage members, and it integrates with the coaching side and the programs. So everyone who joins your gym also gets access to all the programs you have, or they can get coaching. So you build all the pricing and plans in there.
It's all in one.
Yeah. So we've got a couple gyms on it right now on the prototype, all in the US, and it's been going well. We're building it out behind the scenes. We got like probably half my team working on it, and the other half on the existing, like, new features of the existing stuff. And yeah, that's sort of our next move, but it will still kind of all tie together. So we're sticking with fitness entrepreneurs, however you want to define that. Anybody in this space trying to move online or optimize their physical.
Yeah. Well, I feel like and like when you're talking about like what do you want to do when you're calling those people in the middle of COVID and you're like, is there anything here? And everyone's sort of saying like, oh, we sort of want our own app and all of that sort of stuff. Like that's definitely where we've been. Like we've gone down the route of trying to optimize spreadsheets and all of that sort of stuff, and it just like we just hit our head against the wall constantly with it. Like there's features on there that you're trying to build in and program in, and it ended up just crashing the app and crashing the Google Sheets thing, and a slow phone, it doesn't load, and all of that sort of shit. Like
there's no videos on the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
The biggest complaint I get is that the sheets just take too long to load. The longer that they're on there, and the more sheets that they accumulate,
more data that's in their sort of profile.
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing is, I think sheets are fine. Like I'm an accountant, I love spreadsheets, and I'm really good at them. But to scale a business with them, you can't. You could manage 5-10 clients. I see people doing 30-40, but like it's clunky, and I think you're doing your clients a disservice by making them use spreadsheets. Like if they're paying for remote coaching, how are they supposed to send you videos? Well, then you're on this other platform using WhatsApp, or I've heard some coaches say like, yeah, I get them to make a YouTube video every week and upload. Like that's crazy amount of friction for somebody who's paying, $150, $200 a month or whatever your pricing is. So that to me was kind of that's how I sell it. I talk to people about, how to make your clients' lives easier. Like they're the ones that are paying. So, yeah, I think it's going to be the expectation in the market. I think we talked about this on the weekend, but clients expect this now. Like they want a superior product. They want to have all their data in one place. They want a good user experience. Like they don't want to be in the gym struggling to, upload or get a spreadsheet to load.
Yeah, we're definitely
we get it a lot. We get it a lot from our client. Like they've all seen us that we've released the app now.
Because we went, so just so people that are
the opposite.
Yeah, we have the app. We started with the more templated stuff, and that's what you would have seen. And speaking to the viewers now, or the listeners, 5 stars on Spotify if you're listening. We started with the more templated side of things, and because we wanted to grow that sort of service. But then after being on there and seeing like how it's just so easy. It's user friendly. It's almost quite fun using the app. Like you can see your data and stuff. Like it's all being promoted back to you. You get all the information. Like it's just awesome. And we're like, man, I think it's time to move the whole business across. So we're started the transition last month. So there's a few clients that already have come across, but.
Just so people, because you mentioned the white label, that means that the companies can put their own branding.
Not even. Like, you get your own mobile app now, iOS and Android. Like, you guys...
We're in the process.
There, right?
I've got to get my duns. I think that's been confirmed.
Send me it.
Yeah.
So give us a run through of what that white label means. So, like, you're the creator of this app, but then what does that mean for the people that want to potentially jump on and use it?
Yeah, so I guess... Normally, when you say white labeled, it's a cookie cutter of something. Like, you take someone else's product, you slap your brand on it, and then you use it.
Yeah.
We started with that, where it was very rigid. It was like, this is going to be, we'll just give everybody our app. We'll make, a bunch of different versions of it. So it looks like you have your own app. Where we went last year with our roadmap was, let's let them design their own features too. Like, let's become... A good example would be Shopify. You guys probably use that?
We're just about to start.
Yeah, so if you own an online business, you're probably using Shopify. Under the hood, like all the code is Shopify. You don't know that though. Like when you go to the website, like I'm sure if you went to Gymshark right now and looked at the console, it's Shopify under the hood.
Yeah.
In fact,
the engine. Yeah,
pretty sure.
Yeah.
And
definitely is.
Because why, as a company that doesn't build software that sells clothing,
why would you go down that rabbit hole? Yeah.
Why would you do that? So, it's way easier and way cheaper to lease it, if you will, or pay per usage, rather than going and building your own thing where it's going to take up 90% of your time and resources and probably not be as good. So that's really what it means. But how we do it is we actually are at the point now where we can put you on the App Store and Google Play, and we handle end-to-end everything, payments, the programming. We have the coaching side, and then we have the end-user mobile app. We have all these features that you can show or hide or customize yourself, like the education side or macro calculators or whatever you want. So you can kind of design it for your type of clientele. And we're going to take that as far as we can. Like we're going to keep building onto it to make it flexible, so that it doesn't become a cookie cutter approach. But yeah, that's really what it is. You just paint it and make it your own colors, logos, pictures.
Yeah, so there's going to be customizations within the app.
Yeah, there is now.
That's cool.
But we're going to go way further with it and make it so it's like a click. Think of it as like a mobile app builder. You'll be able to make your own features, and they'll just appear in the app, but you don't have to code anything.
Yeah,
that's the big thing.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Yeah, because we will have our own app on the App Store, which will be fucking sick.
Yeah, like next week. If you get me that
I've got that thing. That was a fucking pain in the ass. What was it like dealing with Apple? Like you said it in the call.
Oh yeah, like 7 years I've been fighting with them because for those who like understand the App Store or Google Play, like they're greedy bastards.
I was going to say, I heard they just fucking rip people off. Not rip them off, but they like...
If you sell something on the App Store, they take 30%, regardless of what the fuck they do. Like, anything. So, I was like, well, I'm already taking 20. I can't take another 30. Like, especially for a company that doesn't do shit, at least I'm building the app and paying for all the expenses. So, we had to figure out a mechanism to get people in the app and subscribed without going to the App Store. That was like a big
without putting money
to solve.
through the App Store.
Yeah. Because if you use Apple Pay, they just take 20%, 30%, which is outrageous in my opinion. Like that's a huge margin for not doing anything. Yeah. If they were getting you customers, that's one thing. Then they should get commission revenues. But the App Store is so cluttered. You're not finding Strength Culture app in the App Store, stumbling upon it. Like you're sending the traffic there and saying download it. So that was my argument to them. And I've been talking to like senior people at Apple.
Tim Cook.
Being like, yeah, like
hey, Timmy
sat
boy.
down. Like, don't take my client's
What's your
money.
bench, Tim Cook?
Yeah. So no, we've got the full legal approval of what we do. And it's a super smooth experience, actually better because you're sending people to your website. They subscribe there. Stripe is way better payments platform than Apple or Google. It's super clean. And then they download the app after. So, once you're in, and then it's over. So that's how we handle that. But it saves our customers 30%. So,
how did the conversations go with the people high up at Apple?
Oh, they fought back forever until I was just like...
Yeah, what were some of their points, their arguments?
They always refer to, like... Well, their handbook is like, are people paying to unlock features in the app? Yes or no? And I'm like, well, technically no, because a lot of our customers, like you guys, there's a real life component to it. Like, you could become a member of Strength Culture, the gym. Is that how you guys operate? And you're coached?
Yeah, we've got just the standalone gym, and then we have online coaching that's an add-on to, or the other way around. You can be an online client and add a gym membership.
Yeah, so imagine you had to give also 30% of your gym membership.
No,
so I tried to, and I told them that, and they were like, "Yeah, that's it." And I was like, "You're crazy! Like, that's not gonna. I'm gonna go out of business because of that policy." So we fought, and I gave them endless amount of examples where it was like, "This is not." People aren't paying for the app. They're paying to be a member of XYZ Fitness Co. The app's just a thing that helps them deliver information. But there's also a Discord, and then there's a physical gym, and then they have discounts on apparel. Like, there was so much more. So I had to make that argument. And the way we do it and handle it, and basically if you went to the App Store right now, downloaded the Strength Culture app, which doesn't exist yet, but it will.
Dunn's number. It's coming. It's coming.
You cannot subscribe for the App Store. That's the only limitation. But as far as I know, nobody's doing that on any of our apps. They're finding you on Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I feel like that's how the whole industry. Yeah. And you were saying that you're the first ones to do this.
And we have competition now. Like, it's coming.
It's quick, isn't it? The old marketplace.
Yeah. So like, even the biggest of the biggest weren't doing this. They, like Trainerize and True Coach, like, they're just Trainerize and True Coach. Like, if you use them, like, I think you can change a color here and there, but like, when we launched, right away, we had like the Gen Pop space kind of jump in and start doing it. They're not even doing it as good as we do. Like, they don't even change the app icon. It's just, you just say it's your app, but you actually download a different app. So or I won't even mention some of the competitors, but that's basically how they would handle it. Like, the app that, like, Russ Swole would use, like, his is very different from what we would do. And it would look like this company's app that, not his. So that's one thing we do, is just, like, make sure that our customer's brand is front and center, because that's what you guys are. You're an online presence, and you need to have, Strength Culture everywhere. So we spent a lot of resources making it, so that can be like at the top of everything, and not MyStrengthBook. You actually don't even see MyStrengthBook really anywhere.
Well, it just says it powered by at the bottom. That's
like
it.
The slighted, and it's all like watermarked. Like, you barely see it, and that's just so I'm like, somebody please see it and come be my customer.
Yeah.
But that's it. Anywhere else in the app, it's not available. And then on the App Store, that was something we added. That's new. Like, we just got approval to do that at scale in November. Yeah. So at first they were like, well, you're only allowed to have so many apps under your own account. So that's why you have to create your own. And then we're like, okay, well, now we have to create this crazy mechanism to get, so that I can deploy apps on your behalf and then have them all under one code base. So it's a crazy complex system underneath, but it works.
Well, I feel like the fact that you're sort of paving the way that says something to, like, your determination to actually make this thing worthwhile for the end user at the end of the day, because that's what we're trying. That's what you're,
like, that's, I guess my approach to business is just customer focused. I know that's sort of cliche, but like, I never turn down a call. I probably talk to every single one of our customers at least once. Like you can't become a customer basically unless you talk to me, and that's
I feel like we've got you on speed dial at this point. We're fucking.
I have every customer on WhatsApp, and
I know, and I know that if I message you after like 7 p.m., you're more likely to get back to me. Obviously, the time zones and stuff, but
I sleep for like a small window. In the middle
we pretty much have the meeting at like 2 p.m. The boys ask a question. I'm like, all right, I'll ask Mike, and then 9 p.m. it comes in. I'm like, yep, there's the answer.
Yeah. So that's been hard. Obviously, the last like 2 years have sucked, no doubt, but. I mean, that's what it takes.
Absolutely.
Until, like, we're bootstrapped too, which, most people probably don't know what that means, but we don't have investors. So I'm competing against companies that have raised $20, $50, $100 million, which is, then you're just burning cash. You're just hiring people to solve your problems, where we have to be a bit more creative. Like, we're at a good point now.
How big is the team?
14.
Yep.
Yeah. And growing. Like, we just hired 4 new people last month. Got a lot of contractors brought on like full time. I'm actually moving. Like, when I go home, I'm only there for like less than 2 weeks, and then I'm moving to Chile for like a year.
Really?
Yeah. So we have a lot of talent from South America that work with us, Asia, kind of.
So you got like virtual
team.
sort of a virtual team.
Yeah. So we're gonna go down there, like build up the team even more. We've got people in Canada, the US. The great thing about that being in North America. Time zone's the same.
Yeah. Like,
I've hired people from all over the world. It's a bit of a struggle when they're like, only working nights or evenings. So we try to keep it within, a reasonable time zone. So yeah, we're going there to keep building the team out.
Keep building and growing.
Yeah. We've got a lot of plans.
That's cool. I think it's a cool story. And I think, as I said, like, I like the fact that you're sort of just like pushing through and like, yeah, fuck Apple. I'm going to go sit in a meeting and tell them this is the way we want to do it.
Yeah, like we went from, I guess the last 2 years have sort of defined me as an entrepreneur, because we went from bankrupt to 6 figures MRR, which is monthly recurring revenue.
Yeah.
Like, very fast. And there's no signs of slowing down right now. So it's been good.
Yeah. Awesome. It's unreal. Let's go back to your lifting days though, because I want to talk about some of these equipped worlds you used to go to. What years were you lifting in equipment?
So the first worlds I did would have been either 2006 or 7 in France. It was where was that?
2006. What were you doing, Charles?
17, 18. Oh, we were in year 8 in 2006.
I was a sub-junior.
Yeah, because you were
really?
born in 1989.
Oh yeah, you're 3 years above us, so you would have been 17.
I would have been, I was a sub-junior, like 17, maybe even 16.
What were you lifting at 17?
In equipment.
It was, what did I even lift? It'd be like, I'll talk in kilos, 250, maybe like 150, 145, and 275. I want to say I broke 600 pounds. I think
600 kilos, yeah.
Or 600 pounds at that.
At 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, in equipment. Single ply?
Single ply.
Yeah, nice. So if anyone doesn't know what single ply is, it's like a very tight fitting sort of like skin suit that you put on.
It's like a tight singlet now.
Yeah. Like
what's the material? The material's like...
It was all polyester. It had to be the same as...
the suit.
As a singlet now. It's just super tight.
Super tight.
Yeah.
Like they would rip sometimes. Like you'd see people bust out of them mid squat.
Because the ones I've used are like more of that coarser.
That's
almost like a canvas.
That's still polyester.
It's still polyester.
Yeah.
It's like
now different federations, and you still are. You could use canvas.
Denim. Some people used to use. Yeah.
Multiply, like 3 layers of it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Move. It just looked stupid. So I don't want to shit on them. I love equip lifting. Like I had so much fun doing it. It's a weird sport. That is an odd sport. Weird. Yeah, it was. Especially when everyone was walking.
And it's also just like when you think about like how open and free lifting is now. Like you just rock up to a gym. You almost don't need any equipment. You just need a good barbell and some plates. To compete, different story. But to actually like do powerlifting, you can just rock up to the gym in the same way you can rock up to like a basketball court with basketball and just shoot, like all of that sort of stuff.
That's the only reason it exploded.
Yeah.
Like powerlifting is huge now relative to what it was, because there was like 10 people doing.
I could only imagine what going into a gym, like, oh, I'm going to this powerlifting gym, and it was just like these suits, and like people can't bend their arms and they can't bend their hips and their knees
the funny
and
thing
stuff.
is because back when I was doing it, there was no such thing as a powerlifting gym at like this scale. So I remember that's training for that competition. Does the YMCA exist in Australia? That's where I trained, like the local YMCA. It was like the only gym I had like the worst bar ever. It was bent because I fell so many times. The plates were all out of calibration. Like it was completely different from what it is today. And that was a mainstream gym. There'd be like old ladies in the corner. I'd be like wrapping my knees and sniffing ammonia and like getting people to help me put my straps
slapping
up.
the shit out of
it. It was just like a meathead sport. And like the culture has shifted so much from, like, I used to look up to like Westside Barbell and Mark Bell and these guys back in the day because that was all there was. And I remember watching like Super Training.
Absolutely, man. He's one of our guys. Like he's one of our shining lights of what's possible. Yeah,
it's and today like he's probably one of the biggest success cases out of it.
Mate, nearly just had a heart attack or something. No,
something happened.
He was in hospital. He went for a run.
He's been running,
and then his blood glucose shot through the roof, and I think he ended up in hospital.
Yeah, he did.
He nearly passed out, and was like eating sugars and stuff because he was thinking he was going low glucose, hypoglycemic, and ended up in hospital. Like, quite a shock.
So he was going hyperglycemic.
He went hyper, like crazy hyper, like heaps.
What
something, not sure. He wasn't. I didn't see the end of the story there, but I think he was in a pretty bad spot. That was like recently. That was like a week ago.
I saw it all over Instagram. I didn't watch the video, but back in the day, he was different than he was.
We need to get super training on MyStrengthBook.
I want to.
That would be the
message him.
You have?
Well, it's funny because we're friends on Facebook because back in the day,
very small.
It was very small. He would message me and be like, because I was supposed to do, he asked me to be in the Power Mag. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah. Yep.
And I just blew it off because I was like, this is way back in the day. Like I just saw the message like maybe 3 years ago and I was like, oh shit.
Is this offer still available?
Yeah. And no, we'll try to get him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
who else was around back then? Brandon Kelly?
There was like,
who's the guy that wrote the Cube Method?
Dan Green, was he around back then?
No, he's new.
He's
in that
I thought he was
circle,
from
but he's new.
Yeah, I thought he was from that era.
I mean, new and like, but he was big like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
Cube Method. I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
Brandon.
I want to say Brandon Kelly, but I don't think that's
it's not
right.
Kelly. It's
Cube Method. Someone at home is probably just yelling at the bloody screen. Cube Method powerlifting. He was big back there. Who was it?
Well, there were so many. There was
Brandon Lilly. Brandon Lilly.
Yeah, that's it. So you had this like drug tested group. That was like the IPF part. Nobody was big there. It was like nobody did this for a living. Yeah. The competitions were one day, like a nationals. Worlds were about a week, but they had it all at one. It'd be like juniors, sub-juniors, masters, everything. But there was really no big names. Like the Russians won everything.
I wonder why.
Just dominant. Nobody knew why. And, that was, for obvious reasons, why nobody was like a world champion from the US or Canada. You have the odd person. But it was just a very different world. And then the people that were getting like the mainstream attention, because social media wasn't around then, so you'd be like Mark Bell and these guys because they had access to magazines. Like they were the first big risk takers. I think he did a TV show or a movie or something like
Bigger, Faster, Stronger.
Well, that was one of them. That was like his brother, but he did a lot of people probably haven't seen this, but it's definitely a really cool video to watch. It's called, I think it's called The Power Project, or someone else is going to be yelling on the TV when they see this. But I remember I had to buy it through like a mail-in. I had to send a check to like some random place. They sent me a CD, like a DVD in the mail. I still have it somewhere. But I remember it was like Scott Mendelson in it, big bench presser, and Mark Bell was I I think he produced it. But anyways, all those guys.
It was
So,
very powerlifting, like this.
well, it was like the drug community. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, you know, so I was like, how do I find myself in this space? Like, I don't do drugs, but all these people are cooler. And like West Side Barbell was like, you know, the big thing. And at the time I competed at the Arnold Classic or Arnold Sports Festival a few times. So you'd go there and it'd be like Ronnie Coleman. You'd be meeting all these major players. But powerlifting was just, especially drug-free, it was like, well, that's boring. You wear these suits and you look stupid. So as a young person, I was definitely influenced to, you know, be a bodybuilder, be like a hardcore powerlifter. But I didn't want to do drugs. I was like, well, what do I do next? Like, where do you be cool? And then social media came out and Classic, or the IPF switched to Classic, and things just fucking took off. Like before I was in grad school, I just like went away for a summer to study, still like wrapping my knees, training. I came back, I was going to compete the next year, and I was like, wait, where did the federation go? Like they literally didn't have a team. Like nationals was like
for equip.
It was like you guys go on like Sunday afternoon because there's only like 10 of you, and I was like, oh shit.
It just got swallowed.
Oh, in one
That was like
overnight.
2012?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it was 2012. And I think I competed that year. I was like, I got to learn how to lift equipped. Like, I was trained equipped up to a certain point, but certainly didn't focus on lifting heavy singles.
Raw
reps.
Raw, yeah.
So like,
raw with reps.
you miss that after it. So, and then I just dabbled with it. I never took it seriously after that. So I did probably did like 3 or 4 nationals raw or classic now. Placed, I think, second to like, I can't beat Bryce Grotchek. Like,
are you in Bryce's weight class?
Well, I don't think he is anymore, but we were for like the last few years. So I'll let him have it.
Yeah.
Keep
that
it.
deadlift
I don't want it
specialist.
anyways.
You're probably doing well after bench press and then just get absolutely fucking
I could be in
destroyed.
bench press.
What were your raw numbers? Your best raw numbers?
So at 90, I think I was 90. I use the old classes too because that's how old I am. But like 93 is the class now.
Yeah, I think it is.
It used to be 90 and 100. Now it's 93 and 105.
Yeah,
I competed at 93 and 105. I like dabble between them. I think it was like 255, 205, maybe 310.
Yep, nice bench.
205.
Solid bench.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Fucking oath.
What, are you still training at all now? Or
Yeah, I
what's your
have a
training
gym in my
like now?
house, which has been, nice. Fortunate to have that because I moved from the city. I left Calgary, and I'm from Nova Scotia, which is like the east side of Canada, and then I live on an island off that. So Nova Scotia is an island itself.
Oh, really?
Another one. So it's like butt fuck nowhere, and it's really nice. Like where we live is like super remote. We have like 400 feet of private waterfront. We're in the woods. We're still like 15 minutes from a town, but it's where I grew up. So we just wanted to get back there, but there's no gyms around. Like there was nothing. I had to like get in all the equipment, ERX, Eleco stuff. So I have that at my house now, which has been good, especially with work because it's super demanding at the moment. But I get out 3 to 5 times a week. So it's quick.
So you're running this software company out of like a little rural little spot.
It's like,
what's the internet connection like?
no, the internet's wonderful. It's fiber op. Like,
so our
Australia's internet's crap.
you
Australia
guys have
sucks,
issues.
man.
There's some
the
infrastructure lacks
infrastructure.
here
Yeah.
on the digital side. I can't get over the infrastructure, the physical side.
There's like
your
third world
buildings
countries.
are beautiful here.
Oh,
Like-
really?
Like
Yeah.
incredible.
Oh, nice.
Like your infrastructure is actually blown my mind.
the physical infrastructure.
Yeah, the physical. Your digital infrastructure.
We suck.
When I get Wi-Fi, I'm like lagging to get it on. I turned my phone on the other day here, and within like 5 minutes, I got a message that like you reached $100 in data overages. We're capping you, and I was like, you don't even have like a pay-as-you-go plan. Like most countries, I live in Mexico. Last year we lived in Mexico for the winter. And it was like $5 a day.
Yeah.
Just roam wherever.
I feel like depending on which company you're on, some of them might have one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got screwed, so I'm like, well, I'll not turn that on
I reckon
anymore.
every single person's had internet problems at some point.
So like, what's your like best speed?
Oh, shit out. It's
I
like I
get-
could look now. It's
Mine
fucking
at
terrible.
home's all right now. I'd get like 40, 45 megs.
Well, I'll
megabytes
get like
per second.
messages sometimes about people like, uploading videos slow today. And I'm like, send me the video, and I'll record myself on the app, like in their account uploading. And it's just like zip, like less than a second. I'm like, can you like show me your speed test? It's like 5 megabytes per second.
No, that doesn't even surprise me.
And I'm
Australian.
Like, whoa, I got 1,000. Like,
Yeah, no, thousands like, no, never, no. Unless you pay for like fucking to get like a massive cable put in
Yeah,
or whatever it is.
I
Yeah.
got MBN at home, and I get you're meant to get around 45 megabyte per second, and then
That's terrible,
The
though.
premium one is like double that, 90 meg per second. You
Yeah.
got to pay more for that.
Like a standard package in Canada, and I can't speak for all of Canada because Canada's like 2,000 countries in one. It's like huge. But where I am, which is super remote.
That's what I mean. Like
and
you're
shit,
so, yeah.
I get easily a gig. Like it's, and I don't pay like maybe $100 a month.
Yeah,
yeah,
nah.
$100 a month is sort of your normal.
What does Starlink do? Because hopefully Elon.
My neighbors have Starlink.
Yeah. What do you know what they're at?
Probably half that. I don't think it's as fast as fiber op, or
See, I would almost go to Starlink here.
you should.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've thought about
you
it.
can't get fiber op.
It's got to do with apparently the infrastructure. When we put our internet in, whenever it was, we used some old shitty.
In the 80s.
Well, you don't have the fiber op wires
Capability,
cables
yeah.
somewhere. But even in Canada, it was like this big investment. They were like, put it everywhere. Like I remember them like going through towns and like rolling it out. It's all buried too, which is nice because where I live, I lose my power all the time because I live in the woods and the power lines are above ground. So tree falls, you're out of power. So I have a generator in my house. But my internet's always on because
it's underground.
Yeah. So we got hit by Hurricane Fiona. I don't know if you guys heard about that.
No.
Like nobody hears about the Canadian side of that, but
Only the Americans.
Florida gets crushed, and then we get crushed right after because I'm like right above.
Because it goes
Florida.
up and
Yeah, it just
around,
comes
yeah.
and smokes us and gains momentum the whole time. Literally, where I live, houses floated out into the ocean.
No way.
Oh yeah, like it was crazy. Like we're
Just picked up and just.
we fell off the cliff or floated out. There was so much.
A whole house.
Yeah. Yeah, like it was insane. There was trees. There's still crazy damage where I live because that storm was insane. I was out of power for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Like nothing. And
Just kick the Jenny on. We call
I
him
was
the Jenny.
burning like $100 a day in gas just to
Oh,
run
wow.
that thing. So
Generator.
but yeah.
So you grew up on this little island?
I grew up in this island.
What's the island called?
It's called Cape Breton.
Cape Breton.
Yeah, so it's
Population? How many people?
100,000 maybe.
Yeah.
I'll try. I was expecting
Yeah.
you to say less.
Now you can drive off it. There's a causeway to the mainland, which is like where. Have you guys heard of Halifax? That's
Yep.
like the big city in Nova Scotia. But
Is Halifax the one that has there's a lot of airport, is that or is that on the other side? It might be on the west coast of Canada. There's an airport somewhere. No, it'd be on the other side because it's close to Russia and China.
Russia would be on the other. Yeah,
Yeah, it's on the west. There's an
Vancouver
airport
up.
somewhere in Canada that only deals with fucking, what's it called?
The military.
No, yeah, there's military there, but it's like transfer of goods.
Okay.
And they just fly everything from China comes in to there, and then it disperses into. But I'm on the other. I'm on the wrong coast.
Vancouver, yeah. So
Yeah.
what like Halifax would be a good
Shipping.
connection
Shipping
to
is
go
the
to
word I'm looking
Ireland
for. Yeah.
or the UK.
Yeah.
It's actually not that. It was quicker for me to go to Europe than to
Come down
the
here.
other side of Canada.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole day to fly across Canada. It's like
Yeah.
12 hours. Where Europe's like 5 hours from, because we're on literally the East Coast.
The
So we're
end.
above New York.
Yeah.
So it's closer to get to Europe than the other side of Canada.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Quicker from
That's
flying.
like us. It's closer to get to New Zealand than it is to Perth.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like the Maritimes is very low key. There's no major cities. Halifax is probably the biggest one. And then you get into like, people still call it the East Coast, but like Montreal and Toronto.
Yeah.
It's like central to me.
Do you have bears and stuff around your?
Yeah.
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 Have you
Like
ever had
black bears, but on the West Coast, that was where like grizzlies, you'd be hiking and you'd
Yeah.
see like
They got the oldest trees in Canada.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Big
I only
trees,
know this. So next we've Hattie befriended a Canadian girl that's over here now, and we were literally we're at Wilson's Promontory on the weekend, which is a really nice part of Victoria, and we just started going, oh, what are the where are the oldest trees in the world? And we Googled and it was Canada. So it's just a fun fact that I know from literally
What an odd thing.
from 2 days ago.
Odd, yeah, I had no
You
idea.
got them
Yeah.
old trees out there, yeah?
definitely.
Halifax. Got them old trees.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's tons of trees there.
That's
You'd
what
think,
makes
like,
sense,
Building a house would be super cheap, but
Yeah.
now wood is insanely expensive. There.
COVID's knocked everything up.
It
as well,
has, but even
further.
before that, it was never really
expensive, yeah.
cheap. Housing in Canada, similar to here, like it's just
Houses gone
outrageous.
berserk.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Absolutely. So there are bears. Have you ever had an encounter?
Of course there's bears.
Not a scary one, but I've seen them hiking. Not where I live now, but in Alberta.
Yeah.
So like a lot of Australians there, like Banff area.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd run into them all the time.
I don't know. Joe Rogan just makes it seem like where there's bears around, like you're going to have these crazy encounters with bears.
I mean, Joe Rogan likes to
Mayo?
He adds a bit of mayo.
Bit
to
of
his stories, I
mayonnaise,
reckon.
Mr.
I mean,
Rogan.
you can't paint Canada with one brush either. It's like
It's a big country.
it's so big, and there's
Yeah.
so like on the West Coast, it's so much different than the East Coast.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but because they're relatively the same, like northern
yeah.
part of the world, but completely different. Like different animals, different wildlife. This, I guess, two different oceans. We'd have like I live on the Atlantic Ocean, which is, I think, colder than the Pacific Ocean. We actually get a lot of like great white sharks lately.
Yeah?
Like all the time.
Yeah,
There's
we got
like
them down here.
I think I saw on the news this morning there was an attack here. Someone died
Recently?
Weekend. Yeah,
On the weekend?
Yeah,
Charles.
a tourist.
I don't know.
It's always a tourist.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
More often than not, it's a tourist.
But where I am now, it was always just like people would joke about it, like sharks in the water, because you just swim in the ocean all the time, and there's seals everywhere where we live. But more and more the last like 5 years, there's like spottings, but now they tag them. So I just open my phone. I'm like, fuck yeah, there's a shark right there.
Well, have you seen how far they travel?
Yeah, they go from Florida and then all through the Caribbean.
Even the
and
ones
come
around
up to us.
Australia, the ones that
travel
are tagged, these sharks are literally just like going around halfway around the planet, man. And they come back at certain times and they see you later.
There was a fatal shark attack in Sydney last year. It was the first one since the 60s. And literally this guy would swim every day in the ocean. And then it was on video because there was fishermen fishing there and they filmed it. And these sharks just ate this guy. Just ripped him, ate him, and then took the body away.
Man, they're not to be fucked with. Like, they're vicious animals. No, I don't think they do it. They think you're a seal or
I
something.
think that's what they try to tell us. Yeah,
It's like a test bite, and if you know,
Well, apparently that's with it's usually juvenile grey whites, and they're testing like what food they like. But with
testing
this
their potential, their power.
with this incident, the fishermen had been burleying the water, so there was just fish guts and everything
Well,
through the water that he was swimming
they're
in.
attracted to blood, I think.
And they're attracted to blood. So anyway, but yeah,
But
there was
there are
there was a
different
shark
sharks.
sighting here where I live in Chelsea, 20 minutes down. They shut the beach down the other day.
Really?
On Sunday.
All great whites, or would it be?
No,
like-
it was a blue shark. I don't know. It looked about this big. It was tiny. I don't
Okay.
even know if they're if they're
Blue shark. I've never heard
Blue
of
shark,
blue
yeah.
shark.
But there are sharks that are like out to attack. Like I think
Bull sharks. Bull sharks are the
sharks.
ones
and
that
they're
would just
freshwater too.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
so
were.
we've got certain there's rivers up north that have crocodiles and sharks in the same river.
But yeah, you guys have like
far north
they
Queensland.
make fun of Canada for wildlife, but like here is just like deadly.
Far north
everything.
Queensland, you're going to get it all.
It's similar.
It's tropical,
It's
so it's-
similar to the perception of Australia is that you're going to walk outside and get eaten by a snake or a spider, but it's like you've been here at Melbourne. It's like it's not like
You don't
that.
see them, but I'm not gonna lie. Coming here, my wife hates spiders. Like
Yeah.
that was the big thing. Like I don't want to fuck with any of that. And I went to the zoo the other day and I saw like a black. It's like the most venomous snake in the world. It's
like
top
a
four.
brown snake.
Yeah.
Black belly.
I think it was like a black something or other. They gave us a speech on it. It was like top 4. But she was like, yeah, if you go for a hike here, you're going to see this. But just hit the ground and it will go away. I think I was in Thailand or Bali a few years ago, and we saw a python crossing the road in front of us, which was like probably 8 feet long, 10 feet long. But like in Canada, snakes are this big, and they're like in your garden. And they don't bite. So
little
that's
green garden snakes.
Yeah, no, they're definitely around.
No, they're
How
bad.
far up Queensland are you going? Where are you going up there?
the most north, I guess, would be like
Gold Coast?
Sunshine Coast.
Sunshine,
Yeah.
But
So that's not-
we're staying in Gold Coast. Like,
Yeah.
That's the southern part of Queensland. You got to go far north. Queensland's like you can't swim because there's crocodiles.
So where's the outback?
That's like
Everywhere inland.
'Cause that's
just-
all you hear about.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
200 Ks in from the coast is pretty much like...
It's a bit like,
Nah,
do
not
people
200
only
not
live on the
200 k's
coast?
from the Like, that's because like Mildura is not classified as outback. Outback's like
I feel like it would be close.
like inner Northern Territory, upper South Australia, where like Alice Springs is, Cooper Pedy. Like Cooper Pedy, they live underground because it's so hot.
it's all the central...
It's
There's no trees.
It's a different
there's-
Does
country.
anybody live in Central Australia?
Nah, there are
That's
communities,
Cooper
but
Pedy.
they're not densely populated and
Cooper Pedy.
a lot of indigenous populations.
Okay, so you have
and-
indigenous
yeah,
people.
Yeah.
Alice Springs, like Cooper Pedy, it's too hot, so they live underground. It's just desert out there. It's a different world.
Is it all desert?
It's like red desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no towns. There's just like spotted petrol stations to get.
I'd like to do like a safari if that exists here to go out.
Yeah,
absolutely
so
they
you
are.
can do
Yeah.
that stuff. You can go see Uluru as well, the big rock.
Yeah, because what I've seen so far is like Australia. Well, this part of Australia is just like a hot Canada. It's like
It's just a city. Yeah, Melbourne's just a
Same
city.
thing.
It's a city.
Yeah.
Sydney's
city
a city.
driving the other side of the road.
Yeah, wait till you get to Sydney and it's.
Well, it's funny because all the iconic shit that you would see around the world of Australia is not like all that stuff, like the kangaroos in the desert and stuff. Like that's not what
They're not wild. They're not just gonna be running around the city.
you won't see.
Not
Not
around
around.
here, no.
If you go a little bit out, like if
You don't have to drive maybe 40 minutes and you'd probably be in
probably
an
start
area.
to see them.
Yeah.
Like if you go like Hillsville way,
Do
like
they-
that way,
are
you'll
they
get
vicious?
some.
Nah, they jump in front of. They just obviously do their thing and jump around, and quite often they'll jump in front of cars and stuff, just and cause accidents or anything like that. But if you got into like you see those videos of like them boxing
Yeah,
kangaroos,
that's
and
real,
stuff,
right?
Yeah.
It's real, but it's like you have to be. You'd almost have to be looking for it. Like
Are they trained to do that? Are they actually?
Oh, in saying that, one of the when I played footy up Templestowe, which is a bit further up that way, the trainer we had, his wife got attacked. I don't know why I'm laughing. She got attacked by a kangaroo just running on a trail there. So it can happen. It was on the news. Yeah, This was
Really?
a few years ago.
Yeah,
like, before.
wildlife.
they just
They're
prop
gonna
up on
defend
their
Like it can.
tails.
It can
Yeah.
happen.
Well, I've seen videos and I'm like, I don't know if that's real.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
it's real.
they
And they're
box.
massive. They're massive. If they sit on their tail and you get a big red one, like they'd be bigger than a human. They're huge.
I'm so well. We went to the zoo the other day and they were like far in. You couldn't really see them, but
Yeah.
they were only this big.
They might have been wallabies.
yeah.
So
Could have been.
wallabies are smaller. They're another.
They were brown.
Yeah, so they're probably wallabies. They're,
Or they're
they're
just
a lot,
small
they're a lot
kangaroos.
smaller.
Yeah. Smaller.
They don't have the
species.
they don't have the red color like the kangaroo does.
Yeah.
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 Well, that's still on my bucket list. I got to see that.
You got to
but-
go. Where we were on the weekend, we had the wombats. Wombats. There was in the campsite. There was wombats and wallabies just
Okay.
roaming around. But they're like almost not domesticated, but because they're around that invite, they just do their thing. They come steal your food, piss off.
Yeah, like
That'd be
we
cool.
have. I don't know if you guys have like deer and moose and foxes. Like in my yard, I'll just every morning
Yeah.
I'll see that.
Foxes are around. You see them. I see foxes around here. You get. I don't know if you get money for killing foxes here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you keep a scalp. It's like $30.
You get that for coyotes where I
Yeah.
am because they kill people now.
Yeah.
Really?
They're like
Coyotes.
mating with wolves. They're called like coy wolves now.
Like super
They actually, well, we
coyotes.
had like where I live, nobody goes. Well, it's a little bit of a tourist town in the summer. We had like a singer come in.
Yeah.
I shouldn't laugh at this, but literally went for a hike and they attacked and ate her. Like it was crazy.
What?
This is like 5-6 years ago. I think she was like,
Hybrid
super famous.
hybrid coyote wolves.
Yeah, and like a famous trail where I live, they like because they just go for the neck. Yeah,
Oh, that
Do
would
they
have been
I've
tell-
never seen
scary.
a pack of them.
Do they tell people do people still do that trail?
Yeah.
Are they a bit more?
But I think I used to see coyotes in Alberta, which look like little dogs. Like they're like sketchy or they're like, they're scared of you. These things are vicious. Like they're looking for food. And now that everybody does do you guys do that here with like put your food in like a green bin,
Yeah.
compost? You're attracting all the wildlife
come.
into the city.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been an issue.
coyotes.
So where are you off to next? Queensland?
Yeah, Adelaide.
Adelaide's
so we were
next.
there, Queensland for a week, and then Sydney to finish it off.
Yeah, you're not going to really get much of the that Australia.
Have you ever been to
that you wanted
Australia?
see.
No,
Well, I guess Even well, it'd be cool because in Sydney's like got a lot of the touristy related things, like the Harbour Bridge, the Opera House. The city is pretty cool because you got like right on the beach there, like Bondi and
That's
Bronte.
where we're staying. Bondi,
yeah. Like that's a cool spot, really cool spot. And then Queensland, like the beaches in Queensland are nuts. Like especially up like the Gold Coast there. Like there's long, just huge stretches of like awesome.
Yeah, so we're staying on a beach.
So I think
Queensland's not Queensland. The Gold Coast is literally a city name, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought it was like an area. Actually, I was confused about that.
I think it is an area.
It's an area, but there's
like Surface Paradise is the city.
Okay.
And then you've got like Broad Beach, Mermaid Beach. They're all the suburbs.
Broad Beach. I think that's where I'm staying.
You're staying Broad Beach.
Yeah. And that's driving distance to Brisbane, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. It's about 40 minutes.
45. Yeah. It's not far at all. Gold Coast is the region. Well, I suppose it is I actually don't know. Is Gold Coast the city?
I'm not sure.
But that's like
we've just
the
pissed off
fitness
so many
capital of Australia, right?
I would say that's probably
Like I'm just back to back to back to back.
I would. It's more so like because the weather's really nice. It's beachy almost all year. Like it's sunny. Like it's the typical like. So I think
it's actually not that good.
It's definitely more densely populated.
The weather in Gold Coast isn't as good as it. When we were up there in August, it was cold. It was like 19 degrees and shit.
Yeah, but you're still right on the beach and it's sunny.
Yeah, but it's not like beach. You can't go to the beach. It's not like a beach day.
It is in Canada. That's like
19 degrees. For us, it's like 30
sunscreen
degrees
everywhere. No, it'll get like.
But up north,
like
you go far north Queensland, like Cairns and towns, so it's hot. It's like tropical
and humid.
It's you got the rainforest, and then obviously the Great Barrier Reef. That would have been cool if you could get up there, but
I'll be back for
next
sure.
time.
There are gyms up there.
But yeah, it just seems like that is like the fitness mecca of.
Where are you going up there?
Like what gyms?
Yeah.
So I'll be checking out like Nexus, Zero Weaknesses, a couple of like powerlifting.
Thomas Lilly, mate, just controlling that area. He's got about 6 gyms up there now.
Yeah. So it seems to be very densely populated. Even in, when I was looking at Brisbane, I had like a list of like 20 strength specific gyms or even just powerlifting specific gyms. So it's very, very popular.
It is definitely. I would say that it would be the hotbed of it.
I really want to know now if it's a city.
We'll look it up after.
I'll have to ask Thomas.
Yeah. We'll wrap it up here though. If there are young coaches or anyone that's interested in jumping on with MyStrengthBook or at least just having a call or reading more information, where should we send them?
Just go to mystrengthbook.com. There's a free trial, 2 weeks, or request access if you want to do the subscription side, because that's a sort of a new, unique product. There's a little bit of manual work in that. So if you go through that, set up a call with me, and we'll have a chat.
And it will be with you.
Probably.
Guaranteed.
Yep.
Yep.
I take them all.
You get this Steve Jobs.
Awesome. And if you're still here at the end, 5 stars on Spotify, subscribe to the YouTube channel and share it with someone, hopefully, that might enjoy the episode. But we thank you for listening. Thank you for the support. And we will see you next week. Bye. One final check-in to make sure you check out the 10-week program leading into our first ever novice comp, which is located down below. It's an all-inclusive program. It's valued at over $1,500 and you're getting it for $790. 10 weeks of specific powerlifting programming and coaching alongside nutrition help and guidance to get you in tip-top shape for your first powerlifting competition, your first exposure. First link down below. The 10-week coaching program kicks off on March the 20th to get you in the strongest shape of your life. First link down below.